You have exactly 90 days to change your life or watch another season of your dreams slip into the graveyard of someday. This is not a motivational pep talk. This is a challenge, a countdown, a ticking clock that will either carve a new future or etch deeper the lines of regret on your soul. Every beat of that clock is either a step forward toward transformation or another nail in the coffin of your wasted potential. Most people will fail this challenge. Not because they're less intelligent, not because they lack resources, but because they will hesitate. They will wobble in the first step. They will keep one foot in the safety of the old life while pretending to step toward the new, and that half-hearted approach will be their undoing. Hesitation is the silent killer of dreams. It's not the storm that destroys the ship, it's the slow leak, the tiny delay, the "I'll start tomorrow" that quietly rots the hull until the vessel sinks without warning. You have done this before. You've watched opportunities pass. You've let ideas fade. You've convinced yourself there would be a better time. That better time never came, and it never will. Here is the truth you've been avoiding. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with luck, nor with more time to think about it. It is filled with a single, unshakable decision, a moment where you burn the bridges behind you, severing every path back to the comfortable prison you've been calling your life. Until you make that decision, nothing else matters. You can read every book, watch every inspirational video, make 1,000 to-do lists, but you will still be a spectator in your own story. 90 days of action means nothing without day one of commitment. The unbreakable decision is not a whisper. It is not a half-promise made in the haze of midnight motivation. It is a war cry, a line in the sand, an unnegotiable command to yourself: I will do this, no matter the cost. It's a decision so absolute that you feel it in your bones, in your blood, in every waking thought. And it must be born from a place of absolute urgency. Imagine that someone you love is trapped in a burning building, and you have exactly 90 days to reach them. Would you stroll, check your phone, wait until you feel ready? Or would you run like your legs were on fire, tear down walls, and refuse to stop until they were safe? That's the intensity you must summon now. For the next 90 days, your dream is that person in the burning building. It is screaming for you, but the smoke of doubt and delay is choking it to death. Every hour you waste is oxygen lost. Every excuse is another brick in the wall between you and the life you want. And here's the part most people can't face. No one is coming to rescue it but you. You must choose today. And once you choose, you erase the exit routes. You delete the backup plans. You stop asking, what if this doesn't work? And start asking, how do I make it work? No matter what. You shift from hoping to hunting, from waiting to moving, from wishing to building. The unbreakable decision transforms the dream from a fragile wish into an inevitable outcome. It flips a switch inside you. Your mind stops negotiating with fear and starts plotting, hunting, and creating solutions. Obstacles that once paralyzed you become puzzles you're eager to solve. Criticism that used to wound you becomes fuel for your fire. You stop needing permission because you realize the only signature required was your own. Make no mistake, once this decision is made, your old life will not go quietly. It will try to seduce you back with comfort, with easy pleasures, with people who prefer the older, smaller version of you. They will tell you you've changed, and you will smile, because that was the point. They will remind you of your past failures, hoping you'll live there again, but you will refuse, because that address is no longer yours. The next 90 days will be brutal. There will be mornings you wake up tired, nights you collapse in frustration, moments you question whether the dream is worth it. That is exactly why the decision must be unbreakable. Because in those moments, you won't rely on motivation. You will rely on the vow you made to yourself. The vow that you would rather crawl to the finish line bleeding than quit halfway standing. And here is the hidden truth. The very act of making this decision will start to change you instantly. Your posture will shift, your energy will sharpen. You'll notice how trivial most distractions are, because now you have something bigger to fight for. The noise of the world will still be there, but you'll hear it differently, like distant chatter while you're locked onto your target. You will start to feel time differently too. Days won't just pass, they will count. You'll become painfully aware of the cost of wasted hours, and strangely energized by the urgency of each one. You'll look at your calendar not as a collection of dates, but as a battlefield map, each square an opportunity to advance or surrender. Understand this. The moment you make an unbreakable decision, the clock begins ticking, and you will feel it. It will be like a second heartbeat, pounding in your chest, reminding you that every choice you make now either accelerates your victory or delays it. This is your crossing point. The door is open, but it will not stay open forever. Step through it now, slam it behind you, and throw away the key. And when the old life comes knocking, begging you to return, you will let it scream outside in the cold. Because if you can't make an unbreakable decision today, 90 days from now, you'll still be looking at the same life and wondering why nothing ever changes. And the most painful truth of all, deep down you'll know it wasn't because you couldn't, it was because you wouldn't. Now that the unbreakable decision is made, the question shifts from if you will change your life to how you will do it in 90 days. Most people live in vague timelines, someday, soon, when the time is right. But 90 days is not vague. It is sharp, it has edges, it cuts through your excuses. It is short enough to create urgency, but long enough to transform you completely if you follow the right structure. Without structure, you will burn out, get distracted, or lose sight of the target. But with the right structure, you compress years of progress into a single season of your life. That structure is what I call the 90-day framework, 3 focused 30-day phases, each with a distinct mission. You don't approach them casually. You treat them like military campaigns, each one designed to break you, build you, and push you into a final surge that seals your victory. Phase 1, the break and burn, days 130. The first 30 days are the demolition phase. This is where most people make their first mistake. They try to build on a rotten foundation. You cannot create the future on the same habits, environments, and mindsets that have been suffocating you. The first month is not about adding more, it is about removing. You identify the habits that weaken you, the distractions that eat your time, the people who feed your doubt, and you rip them out by the root. No negotiation, no gradual fade out. This is not the time for polite goodbyes to mediocrity. This is a time for fire. If you waste your morning scrolling, you end it. If you waste hours debating decisions that should take minutes, you impose deadlines. If you have voices in your life that pull you down, you limit their access to you starting now. Every ounce of energy you save here will be invested into building something far stronger. You will feel resistance in this phase. Your brain will panic when you cut its comfort feeds. It will try to pull you back with cravings for the familiar. Expect this, welcome it. Resistance means you are pulling away from gravity. And the deeper the resistance, the bigger the breakthrough on the other side. Phase 2, the build and lock days, 3160. Once the ground is cleared, you enter the architecture phase. These 30 days are about construction, putting in place the systems, routines, and mental structures that will make success not just possible, but inevitable. You design your mornings to serve your mission. No more drifting into the day. You begin with intention. Maybe it's reviewing your daily targets before your feet even touch the ground. Maybe it's exercise, reading, or visualization before the world can invade your mind. The specifics are yours to choose, but the principle is this. You decide how your day begins, or the day will decide for you. You also lock in your evenings. The last hour before sleep is no longer for mindless scrolling or cheap entertainment. It becomes the time you review your day, identify your wins, and plan your attack for tomorrow. By doing this, you close each day with purpose and open the next one with momentum. This is also where you begin the discipline of environmental engineering, designing your surroundings so they force the right behaviors. If you're trying to focus, your phone doesn't sit beside you like a loaded gun for distraction. If you're trying to eat clean, you don't keep garbage food in the house just in case. You build an environment where success is the path of least resistance. The lock part of this phase is critical. You don't just dabble in your new habits, you repeat them so consistently that they become automatic. At first, you push yourself to follow them. Then, they push you. This is the power of habit momentum. Once it's rolling, it carries you forward even on days you feel weak. Phase 3. The surge and seal days, 6190. This is the offensive phase, the all-out assault. The first 2 phases prepared you for this moment. You've cleared the ground. You've built the systems. Now, you flood the system with relentless execution. In this phase, you target the actions with the highest return. If your goal is business growth, you double your outreach, triple your marketing pushes, and close deals you've been avoiding. If your goal is fitness, you increase the intensity, push your limits, and shatter personal records. You also compress time intentionally. Tasks you used to spread over a week now get done in a day. Projects you once tiptoed into, you now attack head-on. There's no waiting for the perfect time. You make it perfect by acting now. The last 30 days are also about eliminating all slack. You don't leave anything half done. You finish strong. Even if you've already hit your targets early, you push for more. Because the habits you cement in this final stretch will carry into the next 90 days and beyond. The non-negotiable daily actions. Across all 3 phases, there is one constant, your non-negotiable daily actions. These are 3 to 5 actions you commit to every single day. No excuses, no missed days. These are not random tasks. They are carefully chosen levers that move you directly toward your 90-day goal. For example, if your mission is to build a business, your non-negotiables might be: reach out to 5 new potential clients, publish 1 piece of high-value content, study 1 hour of targeted skill development. If your mission is physical transformation, complete your daily workout, hit your nutrition targets exactly, spend 15 minutes on recovery and mobility. The rule is simple. You do these every day, no matter what. If you're sick, tired, busy, it doesn't matter. You can scale them down to the bare minimum if you must, but you never break the chain. Because the moment you do, you open the door to quitting. Why compression works. Some will say 90 days is too short. That's the point. A compressed timeline forces clarity. You don't have the luxury to overthink, procrastinate, or perfect your way into paralysis. You act. You adjust. You keep moving. This framework traps you in forward motion. And here's the hidden advantage. By the time you reach day 90, you will realize that you have not just achieved your initial goal, you have reprogrammed the way you operate. The framework is no longer something you follow, it's who you are. This is the architecture of transformation: break and burn, build and lock, surge and seal. 3 campaigns, 1 outcome, 90 days that rewrite your future. But the framework is only as strong as your discipline to live it. And the biggest battle will not be against time, resources, or external challenges. It will be against the part of you that still craves the old life. That battle begins in the next phase, the inner game. The battlefield of your 90-day transformation is not out there. It is inside your own mind. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect schedule, and the perfect strategy, but if your inner game collapses, the entire structure will come crashing down. This is where most people lose. Not because they can't work hard, but because they can't control the voice in their head that whispers doubt, fear, and temptation back into their lives. The first truth you must accept is that your mind is not naturally wired to support your growth. It is wired for survival, and survival often means staying inside the familiar, even if that familiar is miserable. Your brain will sabotage you with comfort because it equates comfort with safety. And if you don't take control of that programming, you will obey it without even realizing it. The war of thoughts. From the moment you wake up, you are in a conversation with yourself. Sometimes it's loud and obvious, sometimes it's subtle and disguised. The inner critic will try to tell you that you're too tired to work out, that one skipped task won't matter, that you deserve a break before you've earned one. And here's the dangerous part. It will use your own voice, your own reasoning, so it feels like truth. To win this war, you must become a ruthless observer of your own thoughts. You can't stop negative thoughts from showing up, but you can refuse to give them authority. You must learn to pause and ask, is this thought moving me forward or holding me back? If it's holding you back, you cut it off immediately, replace it with a thought that fuels action. This is not about positive thinking in the just smile and hope for the best sense. This is about strategic thinking, building mental scripts that trigger the right actions even when you don't feel like it. For example, instead of "I don't feel like doing this today," your trained script becomes "because I don't feel like it, I must do it even more." You weaponize resistance into a signal to attack. Visualization as a weapon. Your mind responds to vivid images. If you want to accelerate your results, you must feed it visions of the life you are building, not vague daydreams, but detailed mental movies. Picture yourself hitting the milestone, signing the deal, stepping onto the stage, crossing the finish line. Picture what you see, what you hear, what you feel in that moment. You rehearse success in your mind so often that it becomes familiar. And when it becomes familiar, your brain starts to treat it as possible. This shifts your actions. You start making choices aligned with that vision, not with your current reality. But here's the key. You don't just visualize the reward. You also visualize the grind. You see yourself showing up tired and still doing the work. You see yourself facing setbacks and refusing to quit. By rehearsing the struggle as much as the success, you strip it of its power to surprise or discourage you. The identity shift. The most powerful transformation you will experience in these 90 days is not in your results, it's in your identity. If you still see yourself as the person who struggles, procrastinates, or settles, you will always sabotage progress. The inner game is about upgrading the way you see yourself, because your behavior will never rise above your self-image. You must speak to yourself as the person you are becoming, not as the person you have been. Stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," and start saying, "I am disciplined." Stop saying, "I'm working toward my dream," and start saying, "I am building my dream." This is not lying to yourself, it is claiming the identity you are actively proving every day. In the early days, it will feel unnatural, but as you accumulate wins, the identity begins to feel real. And once it locks in, you won't have to push yourself as hard. Your actions will match who you believe you are. The discipline of emotional control. During the 90 days, you will feel frustration, boredom, and even anger. If you let those emotions dictate your actions, you will break the chain. Emotional control does not mean ignoring feelings. It means deciding your actions regardless of feelings. The mental shift here is simple. Feelings are suggestions, not commands. You acknowledge them, you listen, but you don't obey unless they align with your mission. You will have days when you feel unstoppable and days when you feel like quitting. Your job is to treat both days the same, show up, and execute the plan. One of the most powerful techniques you can use here is micro-recovery, short resets during the day to recalibrate your mind. This could be a 5-minute meditation, a short walk, or even deep breathing to clear stress. These tiny resets keep your mental energy high and prevent small irritations from snowballing into breakdowns. The power of micro wins. The inner game thrives on evidence. You need proof that you are making progress, and that proof comes from micro wins, small victories you stack daily. Every completed task, every workout finished, every difficult conversation handled is a deposit into your mental bank account. The more deposits you make, the richer your confidence becomes. This is why your non-negotiable daily actions are so important. They are guaranteed wins that feed your belief system. And belief is the fuel for the next day's effort. Your inner game is the command center. If it collapses, the mission fails. But if you strengthen it, if you train your mind to feed you fuel instead of fear, then every external challenge becomes just another problem to solve. Because in the end, your 90-day transformation is not just about changing your circumstances. It is about proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who decides, commits, and conquers no matter what stands in the way. All the mindset in the world means nothing if you don't move. And not just move with relentless, calculated force. Success is not handed to you because you are inspired. It is handed to you because you showed up when everyone else was tired, distracted, or doubting themselves. Relentless action is not random activity. It is the precise daily execution of the moves that actually push you closer to your target. Many people stay busy but never get anywhere because they mistake motion for progress. They check boxes, but they're checking the wrong ones. Your 90 days must be built on high-impact actions, the 20% of moves that create 80% of the results. Everything else is noise. If you want a new life in 90 days, you must be ruthless about cutting the noise. Defining high-impact actions. Ask yourself one question every morning. If I could only do 3 things today to move closer to my dream, what would they be? Those 3 become your priority. They get done first, before distractions have a chance to invade. For example, if your goal is to launch a business, a high-impact action might be securing your first paying client, not tweaking your logo. If your goal is to transform your body, a high-impact action is completing your workout, not researching new workout clothes. The key is to focus on what moves the scoreboard, not what feels comfortable. The rule of execution. Here's a principle that will change your life. Action creates clarity faster than thought. You don't sit and think your way into confidence, you act, and the action generates the confidence. The more you do, the more feedback you get, and the faster you adjust. This is why perfectionism is poison during your 90 days. Perfectionists wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect alignment of circumstances. They die waiting. In the real world, speed beats perfection. You refine as you go. You adapt mid-battle, not before it starts. The discipline of consistency. Relentless action is not about occasional sprints, it's about daily non-negotiables. The people who win big aren't the ones who have massive bursts of energy once in a while. They are the ones who do the right things every single day without fail. You have to treat your actions like oxygen. You don't take days off from breathing. If you take days off from your actions, you kill momentum. Momentum is the invisible force that makes hard things easier over time, but it only grows if you feed it daily. The moment you skip just one day, you teach your brain that your commitment is flexible. And once your brain knows it's negotiable, it will negotiate with you every time. The 2-hour power window. One of the fastest ways to multiply your productivity is to identify your peak performance window, the time of day when you have the most energy and focus, and lock it down for your most important work. For most people, it's the first 2 hours after waking. During these hours, you eliminate all distractions, phone off, no notifications, no meaningless tasks. You hit your high-impact actions like your life depends on it. If you protect this window every single day for 90 days, you will accomplish more in those concentrated bursts than most people do in weeks of scattered effort. Tracking the hunt. Relentless action without measurement is like hunting blindfolded. You must track your progress daily. This can be as simple as a notebook or a spreadsheet. But every day, you mark down what got done, what didn't, and what needs to happen next. Tracking does 2 things. It keeps you honest. You can't lie to yourself about whether you did the work. It shows you the patterns you see, what actions are producing results, and which ones are wasting time. The act of tracking also triggers your competitive drive. You start wanting to beat yesterday's score. You begin to compete with your own record, and that competition turns the grind into a game you can win. Killing distraction. The enemy of relentless action is distraction. During these 90 days, you must become almost obsessive about protecting your focus. That might mean limiting social media, saying no to low-priority requests, or even distancing yourself from people who drain your energy. Remember, every yes to something irrelevant is a no to your dream. You are not here to be liked, to be available, or to be comfortable. You are here to win. And winning demands sacrifices that most people are too soft to make. Stacking relentless days. 1 relentless day is powerful. 10 in a row is unstoppable. 30 becomes a different identity. 90 transforms you completely. When you start stacking relentless days, you create a compounding effect. The results from day 1 fuel day 2. By day 30, you've built habits so strong that breaking them feels unnatural. By day 90, You look back and barely recognize the person you were when you started. And here's the truth, relentless action is addictive. Once you taste the results, once you feel the rush of progress, you won't want to go back. You'll wonder how you ever lived in the slow, distracted way you used to. Relentless action is the great equalizer. You don't have to be the smartest, the fastest, or the most talented. You just have to be the one who refuses to stop. And when you combine that with the inner game you've been building, you become something rare, someone who doesn't just dream, but hunts their dream down and drags it into reality. This is it. The last stretch, the final lap. The point where 90 days of sweat, focus, and sacrifice come together, and the moment when most people either rise to glory or collapse under the weight of their own excuses. The final push is not about coasting to the finish line. It's about doubling down when your mind is screaming to rest. This is where champions are made, because anyone can start, but only a rare few finish strong. The danger of comfort. After weeks of progress, you might feel proud. You might start to believe you've done enough. That's the silent trap of success, it whispers. You can relax now. But here's the truth. The moment you relax, you bleed momentum. You lose the edge you fought so hard to build. And in these last weeks, every drop of momentum matters. This is when small improvements turn into massive breakthroughs. You've spent the first 60 days building foundations, discipline, systems, relentless action. Now, you turn those foundations into force, turning pressure into power. The final push will test you. Fatigue will set in. Distractions will get louder. Life will throw temptations at you like it knows exactly what buttons to press. This is where you must flip the switch. Every time you feel resistance, treat it as a signal that you're on the edge of growth. Pressure is not your enemy. It's the weight that forges the muscle. Without resistance, there is no strength. When you feel like quitting, remind yourself, quitting guarantees that all the pain you've endured so far was for nothing. Pushing through guarantees that all of it meant something. The amplification strategy. To squeeze the most out of the final 30 days, you amplify. That means increase intensity. Push a little harder in your workouts, in your sales calls, in your output. Cut more fat. Eliminate even more distractions. Go into monk mode if you have to. Shorten feedback loops. Review results daily, not weekly. Make adjustments instantly. You're no longer just playing the game, you're playing it at a higher speed. This acceleration is what turns a good 90 days into an extraordinary 90 days. Mental warfare in the final days. The greatest battle in the last stretch is mental. Your body can handle more than you think. It's your mind that tries to protect you from discomfort. You have to talk back to it. Out loud if necessary. Replace every excuse with a command. I'm tired becomes, I'm unstoppable. I'll do it tomorrow becomes, I'm doing it now. It's good enough becomes, it's not over until I win. This mental warfare is not just about the next few weeks. It's about programming your future self to never accept mediocrity again. The breakthrough effect. There is a moment if you keep pushing when everything suddenly clicks. Tasks that once felt heavy become light. Actions that once required discipline become automatic. You enter what athletes call the zone, where effort feels effortless and momentum carries you like a current. This is the breakthrough effect. It's when the invisible wall that's been slowing you down shatters, and your growth accelerates in ways that seem almost unfair. But you only get here if you endure the grind long enough for that wall to give way, sealing the transformation. By the end of 90 days, the visible results will speak for themselves: more income, a transformed body, new opportunities, stronger relationships. But the real victory is invisible. It's in the way you think now. It's in the way you wake up with purpose. It's in the way you no longer tolerate your old excuses. You've rewired your identity. You're no longer someone who tries. You're someone who executes. You're someone who takes a dream, slices it into daily actions, and hunts it down until it's real. The victory ritual. When you cross the 90-day mark, take a moment to recognize what you've done. Not to get complacent, but to anchor the feeling of victory deep into your nervous system. Write down everything you accomplished. Take note of the moments you wanted to quit but didn't. Record the wins, big and small. This becomes your proof for the future. Whenever doubt creeps in again, you'll have 90 days of evidence that you are capable of anything you decide to do. Beyond the 90 days, this was never about just 90 days. It was about proving to yourself what you can do in 90 days so you can replicate it, scale it, and apply it to every area of your life. The process doesn't end here. The skills, habits, and mindset you've built are weapons you can use for the rest of your life. And here's the beautiful truth. If you can change your life in 90 days, you can change it again and again, your new standard. From this point forward, you operate with a new standard. You don't drift. You don't settle. You don't wait for someday. You decide. You act. You win. And the world will notice, because nothing is more magnetic than a person who moves with certainty, who refuses to back down, and who lives life at full speed. 90 days ago, you might have been a dreamer. Today, you are a doer. And from this day on, you are unstoppable. Because once you've tasted what's possible in 90 days, there's no going back.